Welcome back to From the Burbs to the Tetons. Well, it's been a little while since I put out a video, primarily because I've been laser focused on trying to get permits and concrete in the ground before winter comes. And I was unsuccessful. I remember talking to an architectural/engineering firm about estimating the cost of the engineering drawings and the architectural plans, and they gave me a price quote of about $5,000 to $6,000 for the engineering and $8,000 to $10,000 for the architectural. And I was kind of flabbergasted why the architectural drawings would be more than the engineering drawings, especially since I've already designed the house. After doing the architectural drawings myself, I now understand why they're $8,000 to $10,000, because it takes a long time to put all of this detailed information together. So I'm going to go ahead and take you through the architectural package so that you can understand how much work it is to do. Now, that's not all I've been doing. I've actually been out in Idaho for 5 weeks or so doing additional work on the property, and we'll have a whole bunch of videos of that during the winter months here. I'm back in Virginia. I'm going to spend the winter in Virginia doing BPI work as a subcontractor, and continue to prepare everything I need so that I can hit the ground running in the spring out in Idaho. So the first thing I want to make a note of is the numbering of the pages. There's always a letter and then a number. I guess that's an easy way to categorize things, and often I've seen other architects and architectural drawings use the letter to kind of coincide with what the category is. Like if it's about electrical, it'll be E instead of, some other letter. So if you don't see them A, B, C, D, E in a row, it's not because I skipped anything. I kind of just tried to use what I saw other people doing. Sometimes it's just a broad general category, so I just used A and then B and then C. So let's jump in. The first one is just a summary page, and that's required by almost all counties to have just a basic summary page. And then the next thing they want to know is where this is on your property. How are you going to situate everything? How does everything relate to each other? So I've got several drawings that deal with that in this packet. But the second page, A2, is a cutout of the property showing how I'm going to have the layout of the property. Then A3 is the ground floor of the building. Pretty straightforward. They want detailed information about the windows and doors. I've got that on the left. On the lower right, I made reference to the scale when it's printed out. Architectural B is basically 11 by 17, and Architectural D is 24 by 36. A4 is the second floor, and that is the apartment, part of the workshop apartment building. A bit more detailed, had to put in some information about fire separation between the workshop and the apartment. And then A5 is the loft. A6 is a county plat map, and I left that out. My wife has asked me not to disclose our address online, which I can understand that. And then A7 is an elevation map. Basically, it's high on the north side and low on the south side of the property. A8 is the final grade. I do need to make some changes to the final grade because the measurements are related to not the grade but the slab, and I need to make it to the grade, which is going to affect it by about 4 or 5 inches. So now I'm going into section B, And this is where we start getting into details of specific areas of the building based on what the county wanted to see. So one of the things they wanted to see was the information about any steps and make sure that they meet requirements. Number two, basically they wanted to see the wall assemblies, which includes below ground and above ground. B3 is about radon mitigation. That took me 3 or 4 days of research to make sure I got it right. I'll probably do a whole video just on radon because there's just a lot of information there that you need to know. B4 and B5 are about flashing the windows and the roofing system. They want to make sure that you're going to actually button it up tight so that it doesn't leak. B6 is about the insulation. The insulation for the roof is going to change dramatically. I'm going another direction. I'll do a whole video on insulation once I have time to get back to it. C1 kind of took me by surprise that I needed to do a detailed design of the propane system in the house because I'm not required to do it for electrical or plumbing. This took me quite a while to do because of all the fittings and sizes and reductions and things like that. There's some recommendations on how often you reduce the size, the length of the run, those kind of things. I did not use a program or mathematical formula for figuring this all out. C2 is about mechanical ventilation. I had to give very specific design details for mechanical ventilation for the range. E1 is about outdoor lighting. Teton County has very, very specific regulations about light pollution. I'm still amazed that most counties required hardwired smoke detectors. So the new generation of smoke detectors that are Wi-Fi and Bluetooth just won't meet code. The real time and energy to put this packet together was not doing the drawings. It was really verifying that everything I was doing was to code. Then on top of that, you had to make sure that those products were actually available. A good example was designing the gas system. The 1 to 4 or 1 to 3 or 1 to 2 or 1 to 5, and then checking, was there a 3/4 to a half? All of those variations, I had to look them up. And it was interesting that depending on what I chose, I could get a 1 to 4 for like $100. But a 1 to 2 might be $500 just because they're rarer and not used very often. So that was another part of this whole time frame thing of doing the research on the codes and if the products were actually available to implement it the way I was designing it. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. Would love to get a thumbs up from you if you think I've earned it. And please subscribe to the channel.